Welcome to Psychic Station. Let's take a moment to question the most basic assumptions about how we live. Who decides what's normal? This isn't a rhetorical question, it's one of the most important questions we can ask. Our actions, our desires, and even our identities are molded by a system that operates invisibly yet pervasively. From childhood, we are taught to follow rules and adopt roles that fit neatly into society's framework. But what happens when those frameworks no longer serve us? Everyday decisions, from what we wear to who we aspire to be, are heavily influenced by societal norms. These norms aren't just harmless guidelines. They're constructs of power, designed to perpetuate certain structures while marginalizing others. When we conform without question, we relinquish our ability to define our own lives. Consider the emotional hooks we encounter daily. Advertisements don't just sell products, they sell feelings of inadequacy, promising us that we'll be enough if only we buy their solutions. Social media platforms amplify this, curating an endless stream of idealized lives that make us question our worth. This emotional manipulation isn't accidental, it's strategically crafted to keep us engaged and obedient. The real tragedy lies in how easily we accept this. We convince ourselves that these struggles are inevitable, that this is just the way life works. But what if it isn't? What if these challenges are symptoms of a system designed to keep us distracted and compliant? The first step in reclaiming our autonomy is awareness. We need to recognize how much of our reality has been shaped by external forces. Only then can we begin to dismantle the barriers that keep us from living authentically. When we talk about freedom, we often picture grand ideas: liberty, independence, choice. But true freedom starts with the mind. And here's the hard truth: most of us aren't free. Our thoughts, beliefs, and decisions are deeply influenced, even controlled, by forces we barely acknowledge. Is that freedom? Or is it illusion? Take the concept of success. We've been told that success means wealth, status, and achievement. But this definition wasn't born in a vacuum. It was engineered. It benefits industries that profit from our endless striving, from self-help gurus to luxury brands. The chase for success becomes a treadmill, exhausting and endless, yet never fulfilling. Think about how fear is used to control us. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of missing out. These fears aren't just personal, they're societal tools. They're reinforced by systems that thrive on insecurity. A confident, self-assured individual is less likely to buy into the lies of consumerism or follow outdated societal norms. So the system ensures we stay uncertain. Doubt is a product, and we're its consumers. And yet, we persist in this cycle. We let external forces define our dreams, goals, and values. It's easier, isn't it? It's easier to follow the path laid out for us than to carve our own. But easier doesn't mean better. And deep down, we know this. So how do we break free? The first step is to stop looking for validation in the wrong places. Stop letting algorithms dictate what you should care about. Stop measuring your worth by the standards of a broken system. Instead, start asking, what do I truly want? Who am I beyond the noise? This isn't just about individual liberation, it's about collective change. When enough people reject the illusion, the system starts to crumble. That's why questioning the status quo is seen as rebellious, even dangerous. But rebellion is necessary. Growth is uncomfortable. And freedom, real freedom, requires discomfort. Every time we choose authenticity over conformity, we take a step closer to that freedom. It's not easy, but it's worth it. After all, what's the alternative? To live a life dictated by forces that don't have your best interests at heart? To spend your days chasing someone else's idea of happiness? No, we can do better. We must do better. Let's dive deeper into the system itself, how it molds us, exploits us, and leaves us disconnected from our true selves. It starts young. From the moment we're born, we're categorized, labeled, and funneled into roles. Schools teach us obedience, not curiosity. Workplaces value productivity, not creativity. Society rewards conformity, not individuality. Think about it. How often do we act not because we want to, but because we feel we have to? This sense of obligation isn't inherent, it's taught. It's a mechanism of control, ensuring we stay within the boundaries set by a system that benefits from our compliance. Your potential is systematically suppressed in favor of predictability. Nowhere is this more evident than in how we consume. Consumer culture thrives on dissatisfaction. We're bombarded with advertisements that whisper, "You're not enough, but you could be if you buy this." And we fall for it, over and over again. We buy the clothes, the gadgets, the memberships, thinking they'll fill the void. But the void isn't material, it's spiritual. And it's not just about what we buy. It's about what we consume mentally, emotionally, and socially. Social media platforms are perhaps the most glaring example. They profit from our attention, which means they're designed to keep us scrolling, clicking, and reacting. But at what cost? The cost is our mental health, our time, and our ability to connect with what really matters. Studies show that excessive social media use leads to anxiety, depression, and loneliness. Yet we keep coming back. Why? Because these platforms are addictive by design. They exploit our psychology, turning our desires for connection and validation into endless loops of dissatisfaction. But let's be clear, it's not just social media. It's the entire ecosystem of modern life. Everything from our diets to our work schedules is optimized not for our well-being, but for profit. Fast food isn't designed to nourish, it's designed to addict. Workplaces aren't structured to foster growth, they're structured to extract labor. And we're told this is normal. But normal isn't the same as right. So what do we do? How do we reclaim our agency in a world that profits from our passivity? The answer lies in intentionality. Start questioning everything, your habits, your beliefs, your routines. Ask yourself, is this serving me, or am I serving it? Imagine a world where we live not by default, but by design. A world where our choices reflect our true selves, not societal expectations. It's possible, but it requires courage. It requires us to unlearn, to resist, and to rebuild. And it starts with small, everyday acts of defiance. But let's not romanticize the idea of breaking free. It's hard. It's messy. And it often feels lonely. When you step outside the system, you're met with resistance, not just from society, but from within yourself. Years of conditioning don't unravel overnight. The fear of judgment, failure, and uncertainty can be paralyzing. And yet, this discomfort is necessary. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens when we challenge our assumptions, when we step into the unknown, and when we allow ourselves to fail. Failure isn't the enemy, stagnation is. Take a moment to reflect on the narratives you've been fed your entire life. The ones that tell you success is a linear path, that happiness is a destination, that your worth is tied to your achievements. These narratives are illusions, crafted to keep you striving but never arriving. Real success is internal. It's the peace of knowing you're living authentically, aligned with your values and passions. It's the freedom to say no to what doesn't serve you and yes to what sets your soul on fire. But achieving this kind of success requires a fundamental shift in perspective. It means redefining what matters. Is it the corner office or the relationships you nurture? Is it the size of your bank account or the depth of your experiences? Is it the applause of strangers or the quiet satisfaction of knowing you've stayed true to yourself? The system doesn't want you to ask these questions because the answers threaten its existence. But here's the thing, the system only has power because we give it power. When we stop playing by its rules, we strip it of its control. Imagine a world where more of us opt out. Where we stop glorifying busyness and start prioritizing balance. Where we trade competition for collaboration, scarcity for abundance, and fear for love. It's not just a dream, it's a choice. And that choice starts with you. It starts with recognizing your power, questioning the status quo, and taking small, consistent steps toward a life of intention and authenticity. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every act of resistance, no matter how small, contributes to a larger movement. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by the weight of the world, remember this: You are not powerless. Change doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with a single step. And as more of us take those steps, the ripple effects can transform not just our lives, but the world around us. Because in the end, the most radical thing you can do is live fully, freely, and unapologetically. Thank you for being part of this journey with Psychic Station. Share your feedback in the comments below. Your voice helps shape our journey forward. See you in the next video.